You'll all be aware that quite recently the Productivity Commission has had a bit to say about workforce issues in a part of the community services sector, the disability sector. And the Productivity Commission says that they think the main impediments to recruitment are wages, career paths and promoting disability service jobs, promoting better working conditions including shift lengths and changing some aspects of police checks. That looks like a pretty boring agenda to me. It looks pretty narrow, and like most things the Productivity Commission deals with, I'm not sure it'll lead us to any monumental leaps in our understanding of what really needs to change if we're to move to a different type of workforce. I want to talk about education and not just skills. I think there are four things I want to touch on. I don't want to denigrate the skills agenda, but I do want to talk about the need to move beyond just a skills agenda if we're to build a workforce for the future. We need people who can think critically, people who can problem solve, people who can cooperate and work in teams. We need people who are able to evaluate problems, analyse situations, synthesise information. These are high-level skills. And in my view, they're fundamentally important if we're to build the type of workforce we need for the future. And we need people with understandings of sociology and psychology. We need people who are able to develop, have the ability to think about and deliver for the whole person. And we need to end the interminable divide between vet and higher education. If anyone can end this divide, of course, they'll rocket themselves to a very high level of standing in the Australian community. And essentially, in my view, vet and higher education have vested interests in never ending the divide, because it enables the fiefdoms to remain under the control of those who have them now. And so, strangely enough, as a union, we propose that we should move to a system of accreditation of staff in the community services space, that we should have a framework of education and training that brings together vet and higher education training, and that the sector should take control of what types of skills and what type of education are needed, just as happens in nursing, just as happens now in teaching, where we find ways to build these new bridges and new pathways into the future. So they're the first things I'd like to say. The second things will be a little more controversial, and no one should take them as being directed at them, because I don't really know many people in the room at all. We also need highly trained and well-educated leaders at every level. Leaders who understand at both an intellectual level and at the level of lived experience the complex causes and needs of the marginalised and the disadvantaged. Leaders with a deep and profound understanding of sociology, psychology, and the economic and political causes of disadvantage, and who have the capacity to develop and implement plans for empowerment and liberation. Leaders who are committed to the ongoing education of their staff and not just skill acquisition. Leaders who want to build collegial workplaces where complex decisions are resolved by critical thinkers and educated professionals. I call them leaders for tomorrow, not leaders for yesterday. Career paths. Education has to be a key foundation to building meaningful career paths into the future. So we see a direct link between education and career paths. We say that excellence should be rewarded. But we also want to encourage collegial work practices where knowledge and skills are not commodities that one has to keep to oneself because they're about my progression, but where there's an encouragement to share them. And we need career paths that are not driven by old-fashioned notions of quotas, but they're driven by excellence, and excellence for all is rewarded. So they're the first three things. And the last things are the things you'd expect a union official to talk about. Wages and conditions. Look, at its deepest level, education is the only pathway out of low pay. Everybody who thinks knows that. And we've got to be committed to educating people from a union perspective if we're committed to liberating people from low pay. And we have to take that seriously, and we have to win that debate with our members, and we will win it. And governments have to fund services to deliver the type of workforce we need for the future, not the type of workforce we need for yesterday. And we have to all unite to have a clear vision about that. And I suppose some little things would help. Portability of long service leave in the community services sector. People who churn through 10, 15, 20 years of work and who never have the benefit of stepping back from work and reflecting on work. Paid parental leave, abysmally lacking in the social and community services sector. And the one that I didn't add, equal pay for work of equal value. And our fundamental commitment as a union, and I have to say with the support of so many employers, to achieving equal pay for women in Australia, an end to the lip service, an end to all of the interminable debates about how you define equal pay. It's a very simple proposition in the end, an 18% pay gap. It's not sustainable, it's not defensible, and it shouldn't be tolerated. Thank you.